So I am a big fan of lamb. I'm a big fan of Mexican food and Mexican inspired food, and more recently a huge fan of direct heat cooking. So today I'm going to be cooking up some lamb on the Chud box, direct heat style. Eventually going to be turning it into pulled lamb. I'm going to make up some tostadas, all the things that go with it. So let's get into it. I like lamb leg, I like lamb shoulder. Before I went out to the shop to pick these up, I didn't know whether I was going to pick up a leg or a shoulder, and it turns out that my local supermarket sell half lamb legs and half lamb shoulders. So I picked up one of each. I think it might be quite nice having the two different textures going on. The leg is going to be a lot leaner. Some people avoid cooking lamb leg if you're planning on pulling it, but you can definitely get it to a nice pulled texture. Just might have to wrap it a little earlier than the shoulder to make sure that it finishes around the same time. Lamb shoulder there, looking really nice. And our half lamb leg. So I'm just going to hit this with some salt and pepper. And rather than making up my own little shaker pot like I normally do, I found this half-used Franklin brisket rub in the cupboard, so I'm just going to use that. This might be quite nice with a bit of garlic on as well, so I might go on over the top with a little bit of garlic. Yeah, why not? We'll hit it with a little bit of garlic too. Little salt, pepper, garlic is always good. There we go, salt, pepper, garlic, lamb shoulder, lamb leg. Let these hang out for a little bit while we get the Chud box fired up. So we're going to be cooking at around 275 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going on with our lamb shoulder and our leg straight over the coals. And I'll probably top up the charcoal pretty soon, as that one chimney isn't a huge amount. Shut this down, leave this to cook, and make us some other bits. So the lamb's on, we're going to make up some things to top our tostadas, and the first thing we're going to do is make some pink pickled red onions. So in a pan, I'm going to go in with some red wine vinegar, and just enough really to submerge the onions. Good pinch of salt. More sugar than you think you'll need. Really, this is about just getting the balance between sweet and acidity that you like. I'm going to put this onto the hob, get it warmed up, dissolve that sugar, give it a taste. If it needs more sugar, if it needs to be more sweet, I'll put some more in. If it needs more acidity, then I'll just add some more red wine vinegar. Or white vinegar will work. While that is coming up to temperature and dissolving that sugar, we're just going to chop some red onion. Just going to lightly break them up a little bit so they don't go in like that. Get them into a deli pot. These can just hang out here for a second while we dissolve that sugar into that red wine vinegar. As I say, we'll give it a taste. When it hits the right level of sweetness and acidity, all we're going to do is pour it over the top of this, and this will quick pickle these pickled red onions. These future pickled red onions. So we got a quick pickle in vinegar just under a boil. Good amount of sweetness. I did add a little bit of extra white vinegar because it wasn't quite hitting the acidity levels that I wanted. I probably use just white vinegar more often than I do red, but I have it here today, so I thought I'd use it. So these can just hang out for a good couple of hours. Once they're cool, put them into the fridge. They'll be even better the next day, but they should be fine by tonight when I plan on using them. And what we've got here is some white onion. So this is not the same as your brown onion that you would get typically here in the UK. You can get these from Ocado, but they're a lot more mild. They go perfectly on top of a taco. I'm just gonna give these a medium to fine dice. I'll just put these aside for later. And some coriander. Something like that. Put that aside for later. And finally, we're gonna make up some avocado crema. So I was gonna make some tomatillo salsa, some salsa verde, but my tomatillos didn't arrive in time. So avocado salsa it is. One ripe avocado, the remainder of that coriander, a couple of green chilies. We've got this little nubby one. Just going to take out the seeds. So a couple of chilies going in, a little bit of garlic powder, a good helping of salt, a good amount of sour cream. I guess if you have access to Mexican crema, you should use that. We only have sour cream here. Oh, I forgot the lime. I need to go to the shop and buy a lime. Back from the shop with some limes. So I'm going to go in with the juice of half a lime for now. So annoyingly, I didn't press record, but basically all I did was attached it to my NutriBullet here, and I blended this all up until we got to a point where there was almost no visible flecks of coriander or cilantro, and that's the avocado crema. I'll give it a little taste. It's got some good heat to it. It needs more salt. I'll tell you what, it could actually do with a little bit more lime juice as well. Oh, just a little bit. Give that a last spin, mix up all the salt and the lime juice. Perfect. Great colour on there. This can go into the fridge for later. So this lamb has been on for about 2 hours now. I already gave this one a flip just to get it onto the meatier side. We'll flip this shoulder over. Oh, it's got some good colour on it. That's going to be good. We're still quite a way off yet. We'll shut it down, keep on cooking. So next up, we are going to make some tostadas. I know this looks really dirty, but it's very much clean, well seasoned. And to make them, we're going to need some corn tortillas. So these are shop bought tortillas. I was going to make my own, but you kind of have to make them a day before, let them go a little bit stale. And I find that I get better results if I just use the shop bought ones. I'm going to go down with a little bit of spray oil. I just picked this up from Costco. And some spray oil on the top. And this will go into a 180 Celsius degree oven, which is about 350 Fahrenheit, for maybe 10 minutes or so. I'll flip them halfway. When they come out, they'll be nice and crunchy. So we'll get these into the oven. And I've got a few more of these, so I'll do 2 batches. So the tostadas are done. Just hit them with a little bit of salt, just while they're still hot. And that is a white corn tostada. It's really nice and crunchy. These ones got a little bit overdone, but so once these are fully cooled, they'll go into a Ziploc bag and just hang out until we need them. Right, so about 4 hours in, these are looking really good. Love the color on this. Nice direct heat lamb, nice and juicy, and that getting a little crispy there, which is nice. So these are temping at around 170 Fahrenheit. Take them inside, wrap them up in some foil to get them nice and tender. Really good color on there. Smells absolutely delicious. Nice and tight. Same with our leg. Make sure all the seams are up. You want to collect all that juice that's in there. And we're going to finish these off in the oven. So the Chud box is done for today. There's no point in wasting fuel, wasting charcoal. Now that these are wrapped, they don't really care where they are. So these are going to go into the oven about 250 Fahrenheit or 120 Celsius. And they'll just keep cooking until they're completely probe tender and ready to pull apart. So it is about 2 hours since I put these into the oven, and probing through the foil, they feel nice and tender. So we'll open them up, see how they're looking. Ooh, yeah. Nice and tender. That's definitely gonna pull just the same. It's obviously a little bit leaner meat, so it's got a little bit more tug on it when you pull it through, but it is definitely nice and tender. It's going to fall apart nice and easily. You can see that there, hopefully. Let them rest for a little while. Once they're down to a temperature where they're comfortable to handle, I will shred them up and we'll make up some tostadas. Right, so these have been resting for a couple of hours or so. They actually went into my holding oven because I wasn't ready to eat them just yet. So we have our beautiful direct heat shoulder here. What we're going to do is shred it up. Plenty of nice fat in there. All that real nice shredded lamb meat and the little shoulder bone. I'm just going to go through and just pull out anything that's a little bit too weird. Just breaks down real nice and easy. Just mushes up in your hand if you want it to. This stuff's a little bit membraney. I might get rid of that for now, but we are going to chop this up as well. So just picking through, make sure there's nothing weird. And then of course we have our lamb leg. Again, just super tender, literally fall off the bone. Right, so that's looking good. I'm going to give it a little chop with a cleaver. Just give it a little taste. That's real good. Could do with a touch more salt. Put that to the side, and then it's just a case of making our tostada. So I'm going to take a nice healthy portion of this direct heat lamb, some nice crispy bits there, avocado crema, I love the color of this, white onion, coriander, and some cotija cheese. If you can't find cotija cheese, which if you're in the UK you won't be able to, you can just use crumbled feta. Get some feta, pulse it in a food processor and you'll be good to go. And then we'll go on with just a couple of these pretty acidic pink onions, a little bit more cotija, and there we go. That is my direct heat pulled lamb tostada. That is looking real good. Yeah, that lamb is delicious. That avocado crema as well, good zing to it, a little bit of heat, good coriander flavour or cilantro flavour. Get into a pink onion. I think I do prefer the yellow corn tortillas. These are all white corn. I do prefer the yellow ones. I'll get those next time. I think the only thing that this could benefit from is a little bit more spice. Yeah. Some yellow bird on the last bite of this one. So that is it as far as this video goes. I'm gonna eat probably 4 or 5 more of those for sure. The best thing about lamb is how rich and how fatty it can be. So it can take on a huge amount of flavor, lots of spice, lots of acidity, and that worked really well in this case. The only thing I would do differently is put on a nice hot sauce, something like this, and I'm definitely going to do that on the next one. Yeah, definitely give this a go. You can just smoke this, you don't have to direct heat it, although I definitely think it gives a good additional charcoal flavour that you don't get with smoking. And make some pulled lamb. It took like 6 hours, it was really easy. And if you do it, make sure to let me know, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I'll see you in a couple of weeks for another video.